Hey guys, what's up? I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 10 young adult romance books, soon to be one new adult romance book. And I don't remember the rest of the intro. But either way, welcome back to my channel. When I was editing the last vlog, also side note, Bomi is down here chewing on a plastic lid. So if you hear a little munching sound, it is my dog. It is not me. When I was editing the last vlog, I realized I was not giving you good updates. I don't know what was happening. I was just not updating you very well. I finished that vlog and I'm like, why did I not come on to the vlog to tell you I finished my book? How does one spend weeks going full send on a deadline, vlogging it, and then forgetting to tell you that I finished it? To be honest, it does sound like something I would do. So I'm coming on to talk about that, to talk about a few other things, and what I'm working on now. So without further ado, let's dive in. I think it was the middle of June, maybe it was like more so the beginning of June. I had a goal that I wanted to finish this manuscript, which is Love and Other Champagne Problems, finish the book by the 26th of June. The reason why I had a pretty kind of strict deadline is because there's two reasons. My cover designer was going out of office, so she was not going to be around her computer until like the middle of August. And I had my Amazon pre-order set for August 1st was like the latest I could push it to. So I definitely had to have everything finished like manuscript book wise, page count wise, in order to get her the final files, final page count, so we could actually format the book. That was one reason. She was going out of office. I think it was like the 10th of July. The other reason why I needed to finish up this book was because my friend Nicole Ryan, she is an author as well, she was going to be hosting some giveaways and asked if I wanted to put my copy of Love and Other Champagne Problems into this giveaway, and she needed the book copy by July 10th. No, it was July 11th? July 11th, because it was the day after cover center. We had a deadline. And honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought I would get close, and then I was worried about Ingram Spark's printing time, how long it would take to print a book and go through their system, because I feel like I remember it taking longer than it did this time, because spoiler alert, we have a copy. But so I wasn't sure that I was going to make it in time, but we did. I actually did end up finishing on my deadline date of June 26th. I think the last thing you saw as I was going through my adverbs and like spell check, I did another spell check run after that and we fully finished. So that was exciting. A load off. It was amazing. I have my computer right here. Let me open it up and check the final word count. So the normal paperback for the entire word count paperback is 122,675. And then the special edition is 124,890. She's thick. Very thick. But I love her for it. So yes, we finished that. I formatted everything that day on June 26th. Or maybe it was the 27th. And then I emailed the cover designer. She got those files back to me. And then I sent it to Ingram Spark for approval. That took a few days. I think I placed the order for the paperback, like I want to say a week ago. Today's the 4th of July. And this came yesterday. Last Thursday or Friday, I placed an order on Amazon for a proof copy and it came on Monday. So I'm like, have I just been out of the game long enough that I forgot that these things ship fast, or did people just pick up their game since I last ordered copies? I don't know. But it does feel kind of crazy that we have like an official copy, like not one that says not for resale on it. I actually have two, so this one's going to be my copy for like cute pictures and all that stuff, and then I have the copy downstairs I'm going to be giving to Nicole for the giveaway, so that is exciting. But this is the normal edition of Love and Other Champagne Problems, and we do have a special edition. I think that's coming in the mail tomorrow. I don't have it on me. I probably should have waited to film this video, but then again, tomorrow is the upload date of this video, so yeah, I can't really put it off. I got a question in my DMs and my stories about what the difference is between the normal edition and the special edition, and obviously color-wise there's a difference. Special edition is green, normal edition is purple. I asked my grandma which copy she would want. She's like, I don't really like purple, so I will take the green one. I'm like, I got you. And actually I had somebody else say that same thing. They said they didn't like purple, but they would take the green. I'm like, maybe we should have gone with the green. But I do think the purple one just suits the normal edition so well. It feels so rich and stunning and very Margot-esque. But it's not just the color difference between the normal edition and the special edition. The special edition does have one chapter from Sumner's point of view in the back of the book, so that's why it is a special edition. A little bit pricier. It does have more content, the bonus content. Nothing crazy, but it does make it special. The special edition is only available on my website at Sutton.com. It's linked down below. In case you guys joined me throughout these past few months, I started this book in January. I started this book, I think it was like early January I switched because I was going to work on a different book, yet another young adult book, and I ended up changing my mind and switching to this book right here I wanted to write. This arranged marriage, hotel heiress, secretary romance, grumpy sunshine. I switched to this. I really just was feeling the call to this. So yeah, I switched to that in January, and from January until June 26th, we worked on it nonstop and we finished it. And it was a labor of love, but it was very fun. And honestly, to take a little bit of a detour from the topic of finishing this book, I want to talk about last year a little bit. So I have alluded to, I think I've alluded to it before, that I genuinely thought about quitting everything. Writing, self-publishing, YouTube. I genuinely thought about quitting it all. Probably, I think the first time I had that thought, like for sure, was Halloween. It was October 31st. I remember because I feel like I have never broken down sobbing the way I did that day. I just felt like I don't know what happened to me. I remember I was crying to my mom. I was like, I don't feel like Sarah Sutton anymore. I don't feel like an author anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am when I don't love writing anymore. It was such a struggle, And I think I was still vlogging then as well, that October, November timeframe. I know the end of November, I took time off. I went to visit Autumn Ashley in her state, and I took the rest of that month off. When I got back, we bought Bo. I also want to say this, to be fully real. I had a very hard time with Bo at first, and I feel like that's not something people talk about when people adopt dogs, is like how much your schedule has to change to revolve around a dog. It's kind of like a baby, but not as extreme. I kept thinking that it was a mistake getting her because I'm like, I already was struggling. Why would I add more hardship to my plate? It was so much more harder to write with a puppy who wanted attention 24/7. So it was very rocky. It was rocky for a long time too. You would tell my mom would say like, you're her mom now, you have to take care of her. And I'm like, I'm more like her best friend. Like, I'm not her mom. Don't call me that. I am not my dog's mom. We're just friends, okay? Like, I was just not emotionally able to attach to anything. Not my writing, not my adorable little puppy. Come here. I feel like it was like the worst time of my life because I had always wanted a dog. When I moved in here to begin with, I had always wanted to adopt a dog and bring one home and have like a partner, but I had gotten her at such a low point for me that I don't think it was the best, but to be honest, I feel like I did need her a little bit. Like, I needed something to rely on me in order to like keep me a little bit mentally where I need to be, or at least mentally away from where I don't need to be. But it was just like my mental headspace, because Bo and I adore Bo. She's like the cutest thing. And I think going on our walks every day is just so nice, because then she's a little bit tired and I can do my stuff, and like we just needed to find a good routine for us. Plus, I got her during winter when we couldn't go on walks, so that was a little bit of a struggle too. But I just feel like I was not prepared for like how much of my life was going to change when getting a dog, and the fact that I was already in a bad way, I feel like it wasn't like super helpful. But it's fine. We got through it. It was probably the hardest time of my life. It's fine. But to go back, so I wanted to quit writing altogether on Halloween. And I told myself, okay, no, because even though I wanted to quit, I wanted to move back home. That was the time I had to decide whether or not I was going to renew my lease. At the time, I didn't want to renew, but I also knew I did not want to move back home. My parents and I, we've always had like a good relationship, but I think when you move out and you spend a year having that freedom to yourself, it is very hard to move back in with your parents and to have all of your freedom disappear. I was very stressed about that. And the book I was writing was not the book I should have been writing. And the book I was writing is called, well, I mean, I didn't share the title, but it was another book in the Most Likely To series. It was Madison's book. Madison is a kind of a central character to at least the first book. She's a big character to it. Everybody had told me that I talked to, all my readers, they really, really wanted to see Madison's book. They wanted to see her fall in love. They wanted to see her point of view on stuff, and was just having the worst time with it. I could see parts of the story that I wanted to write, but I had the worst time executing it. Bo. No. And it was just not working. I started that book in June, and by the time I gave it up in January, I had only written 20,000 words in one draft. And for some people, that's going to be a lot. But for me, who is a full-time author and this is her job, and really that's the only thing she should be doing aside from client work, that is kind of unacceptable. So the fact that it took me that long, over 6 months, to write 20,000 words is insane. I kept feeling like a massive failure because I was pushing myself to try and write it and it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, and everybody wanted to read it and I was letting readers down, and I let myself linger in it far longer than I should have. And that is the problem when you try to force yourself to write a book that's not working, is that it really leaves you so defeated, and I was so defeated. And honestly, like, I had never experienced that before. I've been publishing since 2020, but I've been writing since like 2011. So it's been a long time since I've been writing, and I have never, ever, ever had that problem before where I had a book idea, but I just could not get the words onto the paper. I didn't really like Madison's character, for one. I honestly, not a big fan of the popular crowd. I personally did not care to read Madison's story. So it was very, very hard to force myself to want to write it, to actually write it, to write it and feel like confident in what I'm writing. So yeah, we lingered far longer than we should have, and it burnt me out really, really bad. So much so that it was the end of October to December, I contemplated quitting it. I know I switched to a different book in the middle of December, but then I switched back to Madison's book because I thought I had found my creativity for it. I didn't. Then we switched to this one in January. This book is my break into new adult. This is the book that kind of saved me from myself. It was January. That's the month I was trying to remember. It was January when it was like New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, whatever, around there, very, very early. And I had like the idea for this opening, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to write the opening. I just need to write something that I enjoy, something that I'm finding creativity and fulfillment in, and we will go from there. We will go back to Madison's book. I just have to write this beginning because I really want to, and I haven't really had the urge, like the want to write in a very long time. So I'm like, you know what? I will write this beginning. I wrote the beginning, and I'm like, I want to keep writing this book. So that is what we did. Put Madison's book on the shelf, closed out that Word doc, and started writing Love and Other Champagne Problems, which at the time it was just Margot's book. It was a very fun process writing her book. Also, why am I a little bright right now? Honestly, I don't remember when I finished her first draft. I can see when I started her second though, and it's probably close coinciding with that. So let's look together. We started draft 2 Monday, March 11th. So I most likely finished draft 1 around the beginning of March. So honestly, I feel like that was really good for me. I used to be able to write first drafts like super, super fast, but honestly, that is a great time frame. It took me all of January and all of February, and I finished the first draft around there, started draft 2 around March 2nd. When did we start draft 3? Well, technically I sent copy edits at some point. And I was very happy with this first draft. I hadn't written the ending, but I was happy with where it had sat, where it had ended, and, you know, I wasn't feeling like overly discouraged anymore. It was the first draft I had finished since probably close to a year when I started fake dating the football player. And, you know, I realized I was so happy that I switched to this book, because if I had stayed stuck with Madison's book, it probably would never have gotten done. If it did, it probably would have sucked. B, I probably would have quit. I can't even tell you how close I was. How close. Like, I was close. I felt so discouraged because I'm like, this is my dream. Why don't I want my dream anymore? And that is such a scary thought to have when your whole life, it's probably not the healthiest, to be honest, to do it the way I did it. But my whole life was centered around the fact that I was a writer. I've been writing probably since more like the 2nd or 3rd grade, but I started writing seriously around 2010, 2011. To go my whole, like that literally 11 to 12 to 13 is when I started seriously writing, until now. Back then I was 24. Crafted my whole sense of self around the fact that I was a writer. She's also scratching something, and I'm not gonna stop her because she's having fun with it. I don't think it's too loud. I had centered my whole life around writing, and I thought, that's it. I had the spark, but it's gone now. Like, my dream is gone now. I don't want it anymore. And the fact of the matter is, I do want it. I did want it. I was just stuck on this one project because everybody was telling me I needed to write it. I wasn't listening to myself. This book is very much so, I feel like I say this sometimes for all my books, but this one's very much so the book of my heart, because it is one, I've actually had Margot's book idea in my head for a very long time. Back when I was first writing Two Kinds of Us, like the first draft, I knew I wanted to write Margot's book at some point because Margot is like a fantastic character in Two Kinds of Us. And I thought it was going to be a part of like that, but I always knew that her book needed to be new adult. Before, I hadn't really entertained the arranged marriage vibe, so that wasn't really why I needed it to be new adult. But just the story in my head had always seen Margot just a little bit older, a little bit more mature and out of high school. So I knew it needed to be young adult, and I didn't know how to like really accurately bridge it to Two Kinds of Us, which is in the Love and Fenton County series. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to write it. And then I made the decision to stop the Love and Fenton County series entirely. So that was another reason why Margot's book was put on the shelf. But I've always wanted to write her book, to explore her story. That was always in my head. And I finally let myself when I was at my lowest. So it is a book that it may not be everybody's cup of tea or glass of champagne. Oh, that was a bad joke. It's one of those things that I am so happy and proud of it. And I feel like that is what I lost. I lost that sense of, I'm writing this book because I love this book and I'm happy with this book, and if I'm happy and if I did my best, then it doesn't matter. I lost that working on Madison's book because I did not want to write that book. I was not happy with that book. I was not proud of that book, the 20,000 words that I had written. I was not into it at all. But I was doing it because that's what I thought everybody wanted from me. I guess I was gonna include me talking about what I'm working on in July as well, but maybe we'll save that for another video. And, you know, keep this to my past, this video about my past, about this book, and how it came to be. It ended up being a total of, technically it's 471, but I think like the total count is 484 or something like that. Thick book, big girly. I love her to pieces. She is coming to Amazon on July 17th. She is going to be an ebook and paperback, and then probably the end of August / early September, the audiobook should be available. So it is coming in an audiobook, so if that's something you are waiting for, hang in there. It is coming. And like I said, the signed editions are going to be available on my website. Link is in the description box below. I just really can't, I wasn't like here to pitch this book to you. I just really wanted to come on and say, hey, I finished. Hey, we almost quit last year, but we are back. We finished this book, and we are on to the next. And honestly, the last book I published was in August of 2023, and it is July of 2024, and I cannot believe it's been almost a year since I published a book. I never ever thought that would be me. I never thought a year would almost pass without publishing. I used to publish 3 books a year, so it feels crazy that it's been so long, but thank you for hanging in there with me, for, bearing with me as I struggled. Anyway, yes, that is going to be today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment down below. Which trope of these is your favorite? Is it arranged marriage, grumpy sunshine, heiress, hotel heiress and her secretary? What's the other one? Like forbidden romance, no spice. Which ones are your favorite? Which ones are you looking most forward to? If you guys want to know more about the book, check out it on Amazon. You can read the description there, and you can also add it to your Goodreads TBR. July 17th, counting down the days. I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 10, soon to be 11 sweet romance books. There we go. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!